Good morning, everyone. I'm Sister Jenna, your host for our new America Meditating segment called Wise Ish. It's your power boost for the morning. It's for you to take your dose for your inner cure. Join us every day, Monday through Friday, from 8:30 a.m. to 8:45 ET. Don't forget, take your dose. See you soon.
Together we make this choice. Together, Om Shanti. We're singing Om Shanti.
Om Shanti, everyone. Good evening and welcome to your spiritual vaccine hour. I'm your sister in service. I'm Sister Jenna. Hope you've been enjoying the opening moment. That's a song that I had mentioned earlier, had been birthed from the 7th annual America Meditating Retreat that we organized online about, 2 weeks ago? 2 or 3 weeks ago. And Kristen Hoffman is the singer on the track, and from the retreat and just pulling the energy of everyone that was in the space, that song emerged from her spirit naturally, and it's been our gift. As you know, sometimes we play certain songs or music, and then YouTube rejects it, and so we end up having problems. And so I'm really appreciating that we have this beautiful energy of this song, and the quotes that accompanied it was just, you kind of wanted to stay in that place, didn't you? For those of you who were joining in earlier and you saw those quotes, and the music is opening up your feelings and the soul is gaining an experience. It's a gift. It's a gift. All right, so how's everybody doing? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Everyone's okay, I hope. Energy's doing well. Sister Gita had a nice day today. She went to visit her favorite doctor, Dr. Burrell. And she told Dr. Burrell, Dr. Burrell, I'm having this pain, this pain here. And Dr. Burrell asked, well, tell me exactly where the pain is. She goes, it's the pain. It's, And so Dr. Burrell says, yes, Mrs. Stevenson, but exactly is it a specific area? Yeah, it's all over. She goes, but I've heard you say that for 10 years. No, you don't understand. It's different now. And Santos was watching this scene, and Dr. Burrell looked at her with so much compassion and said, it's been 10 years and you're doing fine, and your body's well, you have a lot of love around you. And so, as this is how I heard the story, and I might be putting a little bit of masala to it too. But as they were leaving, Santos says, actually, no, that's exactly how it went. So when Sister was leaving out of the doctor's office, she was turning back to Santosh and the doctor going, aren't you giving me any painkillers? Am I not going to get any painkillers? And it's like, but you don't need any, you're fine, And she's like, but you don't understand everything from head to toe. So I always tell Sister Gita, if you were to forget pain, we'd all be so much better off, because that's something that you should forget, that there's even such a thing as pain, So I had a minor alteration yesterday, and she's in such a mischievous mood today. So as she's coming in and I had to open the door for her, she comes in, she kind of punches me, like, love pat. And I go, how could you do that? I am healing here. And I looked at Santosh and I go, I swear if I wasn't a good daughter. Oh boy. Pray for me. I'm reaching my potential. Pray for me. Anyway, so tonight's topic is about reaching our potential. It's something that we all want. Every single one of us on the planet Earth feel like we could do more. Every single one of us feels not only can we do more, but we can feel more, we can be more. But if you look at your life, we sometimes get caught up in a lot of small stuff. It's like a psychic pull, it's something very ethereal. But it seems kind of vast and unlimited, but it's really petty. It's really petty. It's one thought. We grab onto one thought and we make that thought into something big, actually showing us how one thought can have a potential. The only problem with that, it isn't a really good thought. I mean, you and I could have the one thought of, I am sick, or I'm dying, or my body aches, or I just know it, my boss is going to fire me from the job, or my husband is cheating, or my wife is cheating, or, oh, I think something bad's going to happen to my child. One thought. Don't forget that. It's one thought. It's one thought. And you feed that thought in so many things that you do. And without you knowing, it reveals its potential. How? You can't stop thinking it. And 8 times out of 10, your decisions are governed by that thought, influencing you. It's like that thought still has a hold on you. And you're revealing how one thought can have so much potentiality in its energy. And you're like, how can I do that to myself? How can one thought build such a scaffolding around me, I, the soul, the master of my destiny? And how can I live from the scaffolding of thinking and not live from the depth of the strength of my building or my being? So you can have a potential with a waste thought, and you can have a potential with a dream and a goal. A lot of times, don't we? We think about potential in the context of goals, dreams, capacity, building things, being able to do more, having more. We try to raise the bar of our lives, right? We dream. That's potential. We all wish to dream, to step more into things. But here's how you build potential. And this is my thought or my spin on it. Sit with Baba a lot, Sit with God's light a lot. And ask Baba, Baba, what do you think the universe, the drama, the destiny wants me to do? Just that. You sit and you go to Baba in your mind, the Supreme Being, the Supreme Light, the Supreme Source. And you ask this energy that is so pure and so non-attached, what would this energy that is so unlimited, what will this energy want me to do with this life of mine? And you sit with that for a while, and you maybe will have to wait and be patient. But that one thought that is filled with so much potential will enter into your consciousness to such an extent, it will start to motivate you to come into action based on that one thought. Now, when I look at that level of potential, for me, that is pure potential. That's when potential is absolutely pure. It comes from the divine. Nothing can stop you. Nothing can hold you back. Even if you get challenges or you bump into obstacles, it doesn't have any weight. You're going to be okay. So that's, to me, the purest beginning stages of potential. You go to Baba and you ask Baba, Baba, what is my potential? What do you need me to do? What am I supposed to do in this birth of mine? And you wait until that thought is so clear and it flows through you so powerfully, you can't help but keep nurturing that thought in your every word, deed, relationship, situation, circumstances, and little by little, it's like you're building a wall, brick by brick, you're building your potential. So simple, isn't it? Now there are other ways potential is built. Potential can sometimes be built when you see another person thriving and you're not. But somehow when you see the other person thriving, it puts a little bit of fire under your tush, you know. You got to get going. Look at that one. That's another way of activating your potential. Potential can also come to life when you've sat back long enough, not living your full capacity, knowing it inside of your heart. I can be more, I can do more, but you don't believe in it. You somewhere in the consciousness of the soul, you don't believe in yourself, and it becomes a holdback. And it might be a kind of a fear, and when you are living from a place of fear long enough, you actually end up not doing much because the fear numbs you. Look at how the world felt with the original closing down of the pandemic. Did you remember that time where it felt like the whole world was numb? Like, what is this? And I wonder, is civilization learning from what has happened since March? At least in America since March. I think in other countries it was in February. I think Italy might have closed down in February, maybe the end of February. They might have finally closed or locked down. So it's a very interesting thing to ponder on, this whole notion of people forget quickly. This is the problem with us. So 3 months, 2 months, 4 months, we don't have a normal way of moving around like we used to. You go outside, there are people wearing masks, and now they've become more decorative. And remember, there's a time we couldn't even find masks. We were sent, 200 masks by Bill Tingling, who is initiating a bus called the Tolerance Tour Bus out of New York. An African Caribbean who is Jewish and believes wholeheartedly in not witnessing another Holocaust taking place historically. So Bill Tingling called me up and says, I have a few hundred masks we have already given to the hospitals and stuff, and I know you're doing a lot of good and we have some available. This is how much they cost. If you'd like to purchase it, please, for your community, we want to make sure you stay healthy. So at the time we had purchased about 200 and gave them all away. And so in those days we had those masks, the N95 masks, right? And the KN90, okay, right. And then we had our youths, Nagashi's daughter Gitanjali, Tina's daughter Nikki, little Jen, Maria, Sabina, a lot of friends had actually come forward, and students of the Meditation Museum that said, we will make masks. So they made masks, and we distributed them and gave them to hospitals or whatever was needed. Believe it or not, doing even acts of that nature sort of gives you an insight into your potential. Because there might have come a time in your life that you thought, I could never do that. I could never sew a mask. But you did it anyway. And you did it. You lived a potential that you never thought you could. You see, potential is where you do what Eleanor Roosevelt told us to do many years ago. And it's a quote that I've lived by since it came across my consciousness. Eleanor Roosevelt said, do the things you think you can't do. That's potential. Do the things you think you cannot do. Make sense? So, I'll pause for here for a moment. Does anyone have any thoughts they'd like to share? I think Santosh will play a meditation shortly. Yes. Anything is on anyone's heart or mind when it comes on to that? Because I know a lot of times we feel like we're not living our lives to our fullest. Have you been there? Where you feel like, I'm not fully living my life. A lot of times Sister Gita will have a little complaint. She doesn't complain about much of anything. But she has a little complaint. And her little complaint is, Jen, I wish I could do more service for Baba. Right? That little complaint. And I always tell her, but Sister Gita, your presence is doing service. Don't underestimate the fact that you've attained so much yoga vibrations, so much love from God. You are in your state of your potential. And those vibrations are doing service. So how to recognize potential is also important. Sometimes you look at other people, maybe she looks at me and Santosh and Antonia, and she sees us all day long on calls, in meetings, doing Zoom meetings, and she feels like she's not doing service. But I've told her time and time again, have you any idea why we can keep doing so much? Is that your vibrations and your blessings and your purity, that's sending such a vibration in the center, in the house, that it's helping us to keep moving towards our potential as well. So where you have reached in terms of your potential spiritually, many of us are still working on trying to achieve that. You know? She can, Sister Gita can sit peacefully for hours. We would need to, well, anybody calling me, anyone writing, or what's the latest news update? She's like, I don't need any of that. She doesn't need any of that. She's living her potential. It's a spiritual one. So we all have our own capacity of potential. I know a family that I hold very dear in my heart. They're in Houston, Texas. Alka and Meena Patel. I know they're not watching, so I can call their names. And whenever I go to visit them in Houston, or if they come to visit us here in Washington, or our paths cross, I have watched these two sisters who live together with their husbands and husbands and kids in the same house. It's a very nice home. And from morning until night, those sisters will not sit around lazy. They will prepare food for an army, even if there's only 5 of us in the house. They will prepare for 50 people. And do you know why? They go, if anybody comes to the house, we can feed them. And just last week, they sent us a big box. The box was about, sent us how big? About this big of a box. And when we opened the box, there was food. all our favorite Indian snacks, including my favorite, plantains, fried, what do you call it, plantain chips. That all of these are homemade. Nothing is from a shop. By the way, the plantain chips are finished. But they make it with so much love that I've seen their potential constantly increasing because they just don't hold back. There's always a practice. Like they're always practicing, let me see. How much more Baba can use me? How much more? I'm opened. I'm opened to allowing Baba to use me. And so I've seen that with them as an example. So I want to play this meditation for you to invite you that during this particular time in meditation, think about where you are in your life and ask yourself if you're okay. Are you comfortable? Are you satisfied with where you're at? And if you're not, write it down tonight. What do you think you are being called to do? You'll feel it. It'll come up as a thought. But don't forget it. Keep it there on the paper. And when you come back, we'll talk a little more.
One says, I want to be an artist. Another says, I want to be an athlete. We're born with innate desires, destinies inscribed into us at birth. To achieve our highest potential, we need only to follow that voice inside. But as we'll soon find out, our deepest, immutable desires call us to the highest mountains, and often, abandoning the climb is easier than making it. On a hot summer's day, we find ourselves bored at home. A desire speaks from inside us, but it speaks unclearly. We think it says, freedom. We look out of the window and see our bike. We decide we're going to learn how to ride it. On our first try, we fall and scrape our knees. We feel the pain of failure, and we face a critical moment that all kids face when they fail to meet a desire. Do we suppress it, or find a way to meet it? We try again and again and we fail. Every time we fail, we get another bruise. When our friends and family see us fail, we feel embarrassment. When our more successful friends ride past us, we feel like dumb, inadequate failures. Learning is slow and painful, but we're determined. After every fall, we get up. We brush off our knees and keep going. With every extra inch we pedal, we feel powerful. And after 1,000 attempts, we do it. We learn to ride a bike. Some of our friends use training wheels before they learn to ride a bike. Some fail at biking but succeed at roller skating and skateboarding. With experimentation, we all learn to meet our desire for freedom. We enjoy our freedom all summer. We feel the wind in our hair, experience the thrill of going downhill, ride over to our friend's house, make our way to the park, and even stop at the convenience store on our way home. But what if we give up? Let's imagine what would happen if we suppress our desire instead. We fall off our bike and scrape our knees. We feel embarrassment. Instead of sticking with our goal, we go home. We lie to ourselves. We say we don't even want to ride a bike because they're overrated. But everywhere we go, we see kids having fun on their bikes. They challenge our worldview. We lie to ourselves again to explain this. We say biking is dangerous and dumb. Smart kids like us don't do dumb things. We use our lies to create a world in which suppressing our desire is justified. With every lie we tell, we move further away from our destiny. The peak of the mountain gets taller and we get smaller. We let the fear and pain of failing the climb prevent us from learning how to do it. We let shame and embarrassment prevent us from trying. We learn to resent those who can climb, and we lie about them too. We get rid of fear, pain, shame, and judgment, but only at the cost of pleasure. But how are we doing in the other timeline, the one where we follow our desires? We learn painfully. We fall and break limbs. We fail, we get laughed at. We fear that the mountain we climb today will be our last. But we never run from ourselves. Every day we pick a peak to climb and learn how to get to the top. We pick peaks that are too high, and we realize we have to start on smaller ones. We try different paths to reach the peak. When others laugh at us, we laugh with them. On dangerous cliffs, the ones that really matter, we pick our partners carefully. We pick friends that pull us up, hand in hand, and not the ones that pull us down by our boots. And our desires keep growing. The mountains get bigger, and so does the potential for danger, pain, pleasure, and knowledge. We gain useful knowledge that we can give to others. We can empower others to reach their own destiny. By becoming strong ourselves, we become the type of person who can make others strong. To achieve our highest potential, we climb the mountain of our desires. Not the shallow desires that change from day to day, but the stuff that's written in our DNA. The desires that sit inside of us as children and call to us and call to us. They always lurk in the background of our lives. They make us say, hey, maybe I should finally do that, or I'll do that one day, but one day never comes. And it's a shame because our highest desires lead us to our highest selves. We face danger and feel great pain on the way up. We sometimes feel lonely and abandoned. People call us dumb and they ask us where we're going. They try to prevent us from climbing any higher. They point to other peaks, the ones they would like us to climb. But only we know the way to ourselves, so we bravely continue. We learn wisely by taking careful steps and experimenting with new paths. There are many ways to reach the peak, but each step up the mountain feels good and gives us a more beautiful view. We turn knowledge into power and use it to climb up to the summit of ourselves. And if life is nothing but a mountain climb, we find joy in the climb. And there's nothing more beautiful than the view from the peak.
What I loved about that video, and we're going to do a meditation shortly, but what I loved about that video is how it points out the fact that once we've failed or haven't achieved what we thought we were to get, or somehow something has happened that it really tore us apart, it broke us into pieces, or we felt deeply hurt by something, how that thought energy can hold us back from thriving. And the irony about this video is that when you do see other people doing well and you feel you're not, instead of praising and celebrating their glory, you put them down or degrade them or even criticize them or judge them for being less than. I was thinking the other day, we had come across a actress. She's an Indian actress, and she's married to an American singer. And there was a conversation that had come out that I've heard mixed reviews because we were thinking of inviting her to do a program for us on America Meditating Radio. And a lot of some folks had said, oh, you know, she's like this, she's like that, she's different, she's not really a real Indian and this and that, she's a little bit different. And I remembered hearing their comments about her, and I was like, oh, okay. And then you would look at this actress and maybe say, wow, I guess, you know, she's like that. Because people have a way of planting seeds of thought in your consciousness if you're not aware and you don't know who you are. You can easily get influenced by people's negativity. And then the other day we were doing some research to see if we could make her into a candidate for the America Meditating Radio, and we had seen one or two films or flicks about her and information, and we were just like, she's brilliant. Like, she's really good. She is a good artist. She's very smart. I said to myself, I wonder why people would say the things that they said about her. And today when I went for my walk, I thought about that question that I had raised about this particular person, this artist. And I said, you know what it is? And especially sometimes I found with women, this is not all women, but I was asking the question that why is it that sometimes women tend to be critical towards other women who seem to be very confident, outspoken, maybe bold, sometimes fierce. I'm remembering personalities like Hillary Clinton. They attacked her so much. Marianne Williamson had a really rough fight in the ring in her presidential run. And the list goes on. But when a woman seems to be confident or bold enough to fulfill her potential or to live out her potential, I don't want to use the word it threatens other women or even men, but for some reason I've noticed that some women will criticize, judge, or defame that woman in an instant. What I saw with this talent that we would like to get for America Meditating Radio was that I love who she is, that she's bold and she stands for herself, and this is who she is, and what's wrong with it? She's outspoken. She's not meek, she's not mild, she's not shy. She's bold. And I didn't see anything at all wrong with it. So it had me really thinking a lot that one of the interesting gifts when you start to live your potential is a lot of people who haven't started the climb will try to pull you down. As you're climbing up the hill, they are like, where are you going? No, 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 you come back here. Well, who told you that you could do this? You don't deserve that. And if you listen to them, you might start to believe them and end up in their tribe, which could be nowhere. So as you outline for yourself, and now I'm going to ask you to do it for this meditation, to become your own best hero, the one who can rise above all the negativities, all the criticism, all the judgments, even your own fears, your shame, your guilt, your regrets, your losses or your failures. That if you can actually accept those were a part of your journey, and I mean that you really accept it, and then you turn to Baba and you say, Baba, tell me then, did I miss something? Is there something that I'm supposed to have done better? And just by the mere fact of using that kind of an energy of thinking and honesty with the self, there's something that's stirring up in you. It's building in you. And believe it or not, it is moving you further towards your potential. But like I said earlier, Eleanor Roosevelt's quote, do the things you think you cannot do, is incredible. Let's take a deep breath. Think again about your life. Where is it? How is it? What's that thing that's in your life right now that you think you can't do but you want to? Because each time you even get close to mastering something in your life, you're building potential. Versus to be so scared and so in doubt that you don't even try. Which one would you prefer? The one who doesn't even try, or the one who goes for it? Knowing that you might fall, you might lose, you might fail, but the experience will be the greatest reward. So let's take a breath in again. Let's go into a deep meditation.
Creating a hero. quieten down and step out of the maze of stressful thinking and doing. I begin to tap into my innate spiritual roots that are sometimes used, but also very often forgotten, because the dragons of doubt, of anger, of worry eclipse them. I decide to become stronger. I decide to direct my life as I wish. I decide to choose a better way to live. I realize that I can conquer the dragon of fear who seems to wait in so many corners of my life. I use the weapon of wisdom, the weapon of determination. I become confident, assertive, no matter what, no matter who comes as an obstacle. I will not be submissive or intimidated by anything or anyone fearful, angry, or pessimistic. I understand I have the power of both self-respect and peace to deal with any situation, any person. In my awareness, I remember always my original roots, my original powers. I remember that I am a hero actor within this play of life. According to time and destiny, I have the right to be here and to express what I am. No need to fear the lack of approval of others. No need to fear rejection or criticism. Let me understand and simply have the courage to do. And through the doing, through the action, I learn what I need to learn. I achieve what I have to achieve. I realize that until I act, until I do, I cannot learn. I cannot find well-being. I cannot find fulfillment. I cannot have victory over the obstacles. With deep faith and determined thought, I firmly do what I have to do. I courageously say what I have to say. Gradually, I realize that my greatest weapons to conquer any dragon, whether doubt or fear or passivity, are peace, trust, and especially the power of decision. I need to be clear with myself what I really want from my life. And then next, I choose and decide the course of appropriate action, giving permission to myself to make mistakes, but being willing to learn at every step. I, the hero of this moment, I do not lose my balance through getting entangled in wasteful talk or hopeless thinking. I do not lose my self-respect by getting influenced by the negative vision or words of others towards me. I do not lose my aim just because others do not believe in it, ridicule it. Let me do what I have to do and grow through both success and failure, praise and affirmation. Out of fear, I must not become rigid. Let me remain flexible, tolerant, and open. Out of anger, let me not become hard and stubborn, but keep peaceful and respectful to all. Out of selfish ambition, let me not become calculating and ruthless, but maintain a respect for the rights of others. Out of insecurity, let me not be lost in comparisons and competitiveness, but value the uniqueness of each one and of the self. These heroic gestures in each moment of each day conquer all the dragons. No crisis is so huge, nothing is that bad that I, the hero, cannot face and transform. I can transform it. Always I can. Because from my spiritual roots, my soul self, I will always find the resources to meet the needs and challenges of living. I always can connect to the divine source, to the divine friendship. I can take that power, I can take that blessing, which makes my task easier and more successful. That divine friend that believes that I can be that hero, the hero that creates the well-being not only of the self but of others.
All right, Om Shanti, and welcome back. Did that meditation help to give you some deeper insights into not just you being your own hero, but also you being the one that's going to take you to your potential and not anyone else? I remembered interviewing a few authors who had worked on in areas rather of hospices. And many of these authors were talking about what were the final wishes that people had before they departed their roles that they were playing. And she said 9 out of 10, everyone says, I wish I loved more. I wish I did what I wanted to do, not to just play it safe. But basically what they said is that I wish I had lived out my potential. And I leave you to think about that. You look at an actor in a movie or on a set, and that actor cultivates a particular character. In each movie it's different than the other one. Maybe they have to play the role of a doctor or an inmate or a mother or maybe even a lady of the night or a criminal or a power woman. And they have to work on that set for months, to embody the energy of that character to make it real. And they live it, and they get there. Why can't we? Why can't we live out our potential and reach that particular point that if this is what I would like to do, if this is how I would like to evolve into, then that means, and here's my final sharings for the night, it means that throughout the day, pay attention to those small behaviors that are coming through your personality and keep checking if they support that one thought that is connected to your potential. It's as tiny as if you're sitting at the table and you're also nurturing your potential. It's breakfast time. And you're sitting at the table and in your mind is the potential of, I don't know, an angel. And then as you're sitting and you're eating and maybe conversing, in the back of your mind you're thinking, I'm becoming an angel, and how would an angel cut the food on the plate? How would the angel eat? How would the angel look at that particular person and speak to him or her? That's how you're practicing building up on your potential. And one day soon, you'll wake up fully manifested in that potential, and you won't remember a thing in how you actually got there, because it was just genuine and natural, and you had earned it. You had earned it. So, thank you for joining us this evening. I don't know if anyone has any thoughts to share. Kirat Patel, welcome. The difference is our effort, desire to reach that potential, thirst for reaching that pinnacle, and stay persistently inspired. Yes. Hi Zora, nice to have you. Hi Vivian. Yeah, jealousy actually becomes a means. It doesn't only vibrationally creates an obstacle for the other person, but the energy of jealousy within you holds you back, first and foremost. So I always recommend, especially with women, just don't go there. Just don't. No matter what you go through, celebrate the women who are rising, because they will feel your good wishes and they will come to your rescue when you need it. So I deeply believe that. Here. Is the fear due to algae? Absolutely, Zora. The resistance is due to algae. The doubt is due to algae. The defamation of another woman or companion in business is algae. The defamation is algae. And all of that energy comes back to us. We have started from last year in the America Meditating Retreat something that David Brooks coined as the Weaver movement. And look it up on the Aspen Institute. It's a wonderful program. And we started it with our America Meditating guest of last year in Peace Village. And this year we've continued. And I have to tell you, just about everyone that participates in the Weaver group with each other, it's about 5 or 8 individuals in this group. And keep in mind, they're all authors, well-accomplished individuals. But every day they're invited to hold the intent of one of the Weavers in their America Meditating group. And what it means, I put aside my desires for myself, and just for a few minutes I go, I wish this dream of yours to come true. So just imagine when you start to hold up someone in your life, whether it's a parent or a daughter or a loved one or a friend or a partner in business, how much together we would actually not only reach our personal potential, but to be an instrument to assist somebody else to fulfill theirs too. This is the new norm. This is what we want to see. We want to see people raising each other up and not trying to push each other down. It means so much to me. You have no idea. I live by that. And most of my friends who know me, they know I'm always looking for, seeing how I can raise them up, because I know they would do the same for me. And I see how that works. When I see them thriving, it makes me so happy, because I know the world's going to be a better place with her. So keep looking up for your people and keep supporting them. And it's always nice to have you, Desiree or Diraj. Nice to have you, Jennifer Scotland. Nice to have you, Praveen Bai, Mukta. Nice to have you, Nagarshi, Louise. Lovely to have all of you. Nicole, nice to have you. Davina, Elizabeth, Denise Withers, Nita, Minakshi, John V, Om Shanti. How is Angelic John V? Induben, nice to have you. Shobha, nice to have you. Rise, 360 Coach, yes. Asmita, welcome, welcome. Erica, Dr. Madhavi, nice to have you. Tina, Wendy, Bharti, Bryn, all of you, thank you so much for joining us tonight on our spiritual vaccine hour. As I always say at the end, I know you like us and you give us a like mark, but don't forget to share if you care. I think that's really important. Anyway, lots of love to each and every one of you. Have a great night tonight, and try to take some time to journal and investigate what's your potential. What do you think Baba's calling you to become? I think you might find something new emerging tonight. Okay, see you all tomorrow night, okay? Om Shanti. Take care.